all about entertainment. I don't know if some of you remember that. It's real techie stuff. And we started a group, me and a guy named, his last name was Fritz, I can't remember, it was Gary Fritz. We started a group called alt.biz.multi-level. So that was like the first news group ever on the internet. And that's because I had all this time from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. So we started alt.biz-multi-level. And so it was me and Gary. I'm like, wow, this is great. So we chatted. He lives somewhere in Ohio. And I was like, I'm in Charlottesville, great. And then somebody else joined, and then this lady named Astrid Merrick from Amsterdam joined, and she's like, I do network marketing. And I'm like, oh, cool, nice to meet you, Astrid. And slowly but surely, this little group turned into 50 or 80 or 100 network marketers from who knows where. And I became really good friends with them because I had most of the time all of them there. And I had internet access. And then one of them said, oh, by the way, there's a publication called Upline Magazine. I said, Upline Magazine? That sounds interesting. How do I get a subscription? They said, well, we're not really sure. We can't find their number anywhere on the publication, but there's an address. An address said, it was 1402 East Jefferson Street. No, 402 East Jefferson Street. So I'm like, East Jefferson Street? And then he said, Charlottesville, Virginia. Charlottesville, Virginia? That's where I was going to school. That was my town. I said, isn't that interesting? Charlottesville, Virginia. So what I did is I said, oh, let me go over there the next day. I walk over to 402 East Jefferson Street, open the door, nobody inside downstairs. I hear noises upstairs, so I walk up the steps, I go upstairs, and there's 2 customer service reps. And they're answering the phone, Jen, and they both have their names for Jen. And then I go to the office, and I say, is the boss here? They said, oh yeah, he's I think down on the mall. You have to wait for him. I said, okay, I'll wait for him. So I'm sitting there waiting for him, and through the door comes a guy named John Milton Fogg. How many of you know John Milton Fogg? Right? He wrote a book called The Greatest Networker in the World. It's like, I had no idea what that book was. And I looked at him, I said, hey, I do network marketing. I hear this publication is about network marketing. He said, yes, it is. Who are you? What do you want? He said, what do you want? I said, a job. He looked around and he said, what can you do? Not much. But I'll do whatever you want me to do. Right? And he hired me. It was one of the greatest things that happened to me. So I was able to, from that point forward, eventually run the customer service department. I was able to run their events business. I was able to run their warehousing business. But what happened during that is they put on an event called the Masters Seminar. It was in Reno, Nevada. I'd never been to Reno, Nevada. And John Fogg said, oh, we've got a guy that writes for us and works for us for Upline in Australia named Mark Davis. So you and Mark are in charge of putting on the event in Reno. Well, I've never run an event. Doesn't matter, you're going. So I fly to Reno. I meet Mark Davis in Reno, Nevada. We've got the hotel, so I've got to do the hotel check, the room check, everything. We finally get a room, and all the speakers show up in the room for that event. And amongst the speakers was Randy Gage. So I was like, wow, meeting Randy Gage. So that was cool. John Milton Fogg was there. Some guy named Tom Schreider was there. That was Big Al. And I'm looking for Big Al. He's ready to come through the door. Where's this little guy? Cool. Big Al. Big Al walks through the door. We had a couple other speakers there, Sandy and so forth. And then the door opens, we're waiting for one more speaker because we're going to have a speakers meeting. The door opens up and this blonde comes through the door, and then there's this big guy, big smile on his face. He said, all right, I'm here, let me in charge. And he jumps on the bed in the room. Just jumps on it like it's his. I'm looking at that and I realized that's the guy that wrote a book called Mach 2 with Your Hair on Fire. But it wasn't called Mach 2 with Your Hair on Fire then because it was a little gray pamphlet at the time. It was still an idea, but I'd read it because one of my jobs was to review books and so forth. And I wrote, how many of you have read that? Mach 2 with Your Hair on Fire, right? You had to write your vision. And as I reviewed the book, I wrote out my vision, and I just put it away. You heard the similar story here today from Dana. And a couple of years later, I pulled that vision out. And you know what? 80% of the stuff came true. And I thought to myself, what a moron I am. I should have put more than 45 minutes of thought into that. I was just doing it to review the book. It was a manuscript at the time. Well, interestingly enough, this gentleman, he gave a presentation that day. He helped give Mark Ernell the Network Marketing of the Year award. And I was entirely intimidated by him. I mean, I kid you not. This guy, he shook my hand and my whole body shook. I was like, wow. I thought he's from Texas or something. This is a huge personality. And he shared from the stage absolute truths. He didn't sugarcoat it. He said it with authority and with passion, and he just became this hero for me. And over the years, he was kind enough to reach out to me every once in a while and say, hey, Art, how are you doing? What's going on in your life? And I, for some reason, would just pour out to him. And he'd give me advice back. And to this day, it's been like that. Just last week, we had a call for about an hour and a half. And towards the end of the call, he's like, Art, I got to tell you a couple of things. He's like, it's going to be, it might be tough advice for you. And I said, all right. And he does that because he's like a father figure to me. He's fraternal that way. But when he says it, I listen. And I'm hoping that as he comes up here tonight, you give him that same respect, and you will, I know. But he's a gentleman that started his profession chopping the heads off of chickens for, I don't know, like $2.30 an hour. He went on to become an entrepreneur and ended up on the cover of Success magazine. He runs a network marketing company that's been in business for 20 years. If you ever visit their home office, I mean, it's just incredible. And he cares about the distributors. It's almost as if he were a distributor. He hangs out with the DSA. He goes and gets involved and understands the politics. He gets this profession like Pauline comes, just in an amazing way on many levels. So what I want you to do is let's warm welcome Mr. Richard.
I got a go for no story for you. Do you like stories? Jordan, that was brilliant. Wherever you went. Brilliant. Great stuff. Brilliant. Wasn't that good? I got a go for no story. I don't like no either, not any better than anybody else. And I have really good reframing interpretations about no's, as good as anybody's, but I don't like them any better than anybody else's. So, I did write this book a long time ago. It's kind of a workbook for a seminar I've done for about 30 years. And so I thought, what better way to get this book to be prominent and, mainstream without going to a publisher, because I didn't know anything about that. So I thought, I just need to get Oprah to read the book, right? If I get Oprah to read the book, well, she'll invite me on the show, and I'll, share, be big, and the book will be like #1. So I think, maybe I'll call Oprah. And I actually had, Jordan's like dots. I actually had a connection. I want to say I know him, but I've met and talked a few times to one of her financial advisors. I had an angle in there. But still, getting through to Oprah, probably not going to happen. Plus, I didn't want to hear that. No. So I had a better idea. I went down to our shipping department. I got the little clerk girl down there, and I said, here's what I want you to do. I said, we got a whole bunch of these books here. I want you to put them in a priority express mail package. And I also wrote Oprah a letter. If you ever see her launch her own network marketing company, it's might be stimulated partially by this. But I wrote her a letter about the book and also about our industry and how she could be like overnight $2 billion a year instant if she wanted to. And I put the letter in with the book, and I told Jen, the gal in the warehouse, I said, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to send Oprah, Harpo Productions, 2 of these express mail in the fancy envelope every week. Forever. So Jen says, Richard, that's going to cost I don't know what she said. I said, it's okay. Put the book in the box, ship it off to Harpo twice a week. So the next time I thought about it was about 6 months later, and I called up Jen down in a distribution place. I said, hey, Jen, have you really been doing that? She said, oh, yeah, Richard, religiously. said, we've gone through like, 100 books already. You sure you want to keep doing this? I said, no, keep doing it. So here's the vision I had. I figured, these books, first they're going to be like, a few books in the mailroom. And then, to a week, after 52 weeks, that's 104 books. This is going to be kind of a pretty big stack. And I don't know why, but I envisioned Harpo's mailroom to be kind of like our mailroom, which, is like 20 by 20 and a bunch of shelves and stuff. So I'm visualizing the books in the mailroom. And I figured, at some point, when the stacks of these books get high enough, like hundreds and hundreds of books, somebody's going to get to, not Oprah, but who's that gal, King? What's her name? Gail King? Yeah. Somebody's going to get to Gail King and say, hey, what do you want us to do with all these books? Somebody's going to get their attention. And so it took, I got to go find out exactly, but somewhere between 4.5 and 5.5 years. 2 books a week. I never asked what it cost. I don't want to know. It's like 800 books. Somebody's tripping over these books. And you know what? It worked. I didn't have to hear the no twice a week. They just automatic pilot, kind of like auto responders, I guess. And, one day I was down in California. I live in California in winter, and my assistant called, and she said, Richard, you're not going to believe it. I said, what? She said, we got a letter from our corporation. I said, you're kidding me. She says, no, it's right here. Well, I wanted to see it for myself, but I said, well, read it to me. Harpo Productions. I said, who's it from? She said, Harpo Productions. Right at the top. Dear Mr. Brooke, please cease and desist. I don't know the rest of it, but it wasn't from Gail King. It was from the chief in-house counsel of Harpo Productions, who had 2 things to say. Number 1, do not send us any more books. And number 2, our business expansion plans are our own business, and we don't need any input from you, or something like that. Like Gopher No Story. But that's not what I came up here to talk about. I'm going to be brief, but I have what to me is an important message. And for a couple of days now, there's been nothing but uplifting, positive, inspirational, you can do it, everything's going to be great, everybody can make $100,000 a month. And for 20 minutes, I've already burned 8 of it, I'm going to rain on the parade a little bit. Yeah. Because I have a perspective on our industry that I want you as distributors, potential future $100,000 a month leaders, to know about. Because if you don't know about it and you don't take some responsibility for it, you can be partially responsible for a train wreck that could ruin a lot of lives and a lot of empires and a lot of hopes and a lot of dreams of people that are just on their way up. And so here's the issue that I want to talk about. We have a gap in our network marketing community. We have a gap between how the owners of companies see this business should work, could work, will work. A gap between how they demand for themselves it's going to work, and how most network marketing leaders see it should work, could work, and unfortunately demand it must work for them. There's a gap. There's an us and a them. Familiar with that? You ever had the thought that who are these boneheads in the corporate office making these decisions? Have you ever had that thought? Okay, not in your company, but... And it's a rising problem that there is an us against them mentality. And if you're relatively new to the industry, maybe for you it only shows up as, a complaint about how things are done or how things are designed. But if you've been around the industry for a while, what the effect has been on you is driving you out of companies and into a new company, which requires telling your whole group, you know what I told you for the last 5 years isn't so for me anymore. And now it's a whole new story, and I want you to follow me here. And it's starting over. And I don't know how many of you have started over, but how many of you have started over at least once? How did it feel? You ever want to do that again? No, you don't. But as long as there's a gap between how we as field leaders, and I do, as Art said, I'm kind of a CEO and owner of a company by default. I have the mentality of a field leader. I became the CEO because I didn't like how other people were running companies, so I thought I'd do both, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. But until we close this gap and you understand how companies see this industry and companies see how you see this industry, and we close this gap and we share some values and we maybe embrace some cultural commitments as an industry, we're going to have an us against them. And when we have an us against them, here's the kind of things that happen. Companies decide that you're not an independent distributor. Companies decide that even though they're going to pay you as an independent distributor, how they really want to treat you as an employee. And what that means is you're going to do exactly what they say you do and how you do it and when you do it. And if they don't like how you do it, what do? They fire you. How many of you have ever been terminated from a company? Raise your hand and mine's up. Wow, not very many. Must be a lot of newbies in here. I got some slides here about some commitments that I'd like to see companies make. And if you like them or you want to add to them or change them, do whatever you want to with them. But maybe these are commitments that you can hold your companies to as a standard. And one of the ways you can help shape the future of our industry is perhaps next time you're in between companies, which for most of you is going to happen. At some point in your career, you're going to be looking for another company. Maybe make wiser choices. So, here's some corporate commitments. Talk to them about that. Here's number one, a commitment to longevity. I just don't see enough companies in our industry who get in the game to be in the game 100 years from now as a network marketing company. They get in the game because they see there's a lot of money to be made. They get in the game perhaps because there's an opportunity to go public and make a lot of money on the stock, but they don't have a long-term vision of providing a network marketing opportunity for people for 100 years. Now, why 100 years when maybe you and I are only 30, 40, 50, 60 years old and we're only going to be doing this for another 20 or 30 years? Well, the answer's obvious, isn't it? I mean, we're building something for somebody. And if you and I don't have residual income, longevity equals residual income. If you don't have residual income, you don't have asset value. If you build something that pays you $5,000 or $10,000 a month, and you can actually at least semi-retire from it, like you can sit on the beach, what's that distributorship worth if somebody would pay you for it? What's it worth as an asset? It pays you $5,000 or $10,000 a month, whether you work it or not. Somewhere between $1 million and $2 million as an asset on your balance sheet. How do you know that? You'd have to have that much real estate or that much liquid investment in equities to get the same return. You get that conversation? Without longevity, there's no residual income. Without residual income, there's no asset value. So it doesn't matter if you make $20 or $30 or $40 or $50,000 a month. If you don't have longevity, residual income, asset value, all you have is a job. You might as well be a mortgage banker. You might as well sell cars. You might as well sell real estate because all you have is a job. You're not building a legacy. You're not building an asset. And here's what we know when we've been around a long time. One of the assets of being around a long time, 33 years for me, full-time in this industry, is you see things like 50 years coming up on you. Now, if you'd have asked me 32 years ago, hey, Richard, how important is it, do you think, that last for the next 30 years. You know what I'd said? I don't know. I don't know about that, but this month, my check, please. This month. That would have been my perspective. And let's keep going for a year because we got contests going on and it lasts the rest of the year. And I'm looking to win the contest. When you're young, you just don't. You don't think about it. You don't think. Maybe we think we're going to live forever. We think our business is going to go on forever. We just don't think about 20 or 30 or 40 years is coming. But it is coming. Like a runaway freight train. It's coming. It's going to be 50 years from now. It's a good thing companies like Amway have, I guess, a 100-year business plan. Because they're 50 years old now. I mean, their 50 years is already gone. It's a good thing they have a 100-year business plan. There'd be nothing to talk about. Right? You got to have a 100-year business plan. So next time you're in between companies, or in the company you're in now, next time you get a chance to talk to the owner, say, hey, tell me about longevity. I know you guys will be all over this one, but this is huge. And the analogy I like here in partnership with sales leaders is, I don't know if it was whoever it was, one of the great marriage counselors or one of the great personal development gurus that brought on the distinction of being 100% responsible. Well, the distinction that I was brought up in responsibility is if you're responsible, it's 100% in partnerships. Which means that if you're in partnership with somebody, like in a marriage or in a business, and you're going to be responsible to make that partnership succeed, then your 100% is 100%. It's not 50-50. It's not, I'm going to do my part if you do your part. It's not, I'm going to be nice to you and empower you as my spouse and love you as my spouse and take care of you as my spouse, as long as you do your part, all your stuff on the list. And as soon as I see you don't start doing some of your stuff, or maybe you have a breakdown in your performance, then I'm going to start to withhold some of my performance. How do marriages work when they're set up 50-50? They don't work. They don't work when they're 50-50. They don't work when they're conditional. They only work when they're 100%. What that means is, as you're part of the partnership, you have a role to play. You do your 100% regardless of whether your partner does 100%. 100%. Companies need this commitment. They need this commitment to honor sales leaders in the field. Listen to them. One of the trends we're on as an industry, you go back 20, 30 years ago, most of the owners and founders of network marketing companies had built a sales organization sometime, somewhere. Today, most of them don't have a clue what you're talking about. They really don't. Doesn't mean they're bad people. Doesn't mean they have bad intentions. They've just never done it. So when Randy's talking about, no, Rick, really, that's a disincentive contest. That trick won't work. He's telling the truth. That happens all the time. Companies get together and they get in the boardroom and say, this would be fantastic. They're going to love this. And the sales leaders hate it. And, when it gets rammed down their throats, how's that work? It doesn't work. Number 3, corporate commitment. This is a trend I see. You go back 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years ago, you didn't see very many companies develop mediocre, junk, let me see how cheap I can get by kind of products. We have a trend in the last 20, 30 years. Let me see what I can get by with in the quality of my product. Let me put the money in marketing and packaging and see if I can get by with selling mediocre products. This is a commitment like I'm telling you what I would be telling the owners of companies. And every once in a while I get an opportunity to rail on them about this kind of stuff. And here's the most important. Market them legally and responsibly. I'm talking about the company now, not you. But it's a huge problem we have. You know what happens when companies allow, tolerate, encourage, look the other way when you make drug claims? You know what can happen? You know the regulatory body that can't interfere in that. You know the name of it. What's its initials? the FDA. You know, one of the things you may not know about the FDA is the FDA is not required to do its job to go through due process. Not required. Can I tell you a story? 27 years ago, I briefly was, like for 3 years, I was asked to run this company. Now, they pulled me out of the field to run it. I was a very happy, very successful distributor, but the company was a mess. Somehow they said, you can come in here and run it. I didn't know anything about it, but here's something I witnessed happen. I'm in my office one day, and my assistant comes down and said, there's a lady from the FDA here. She wants to talk to you. I was the executive vice president or something of the company. So I went down and met her. She had a white smock on. Said, you know, hi, my name is Betty from the FDA, and I'd like to see your warehouse. Well, I didn't know anything. I said, well, okay, the warehouse back here. Stacks and stacks and stacks, racks of pallets of a nutritional product. Tons of it. We were selling the bull out of it. She had an assistant. They went around through the racks looking at it. They're looking at the labels of the products. It was outside the pallet, all shrink wrap. She got out these little red tags. She wrote on a little red tag and stapled it to the pallet. Looking at her. You know, we don't wrap these. We don't sell them like full pallets at a time. We don't wrap these and then ship the boxes. You know, it's up to it. We ship these. Distributor's order. You ship these. And I remember, I'll never forget this in every fiber of my body. She never even looked at me. She never even acknowledged my presence. But her assistant turned around to me when I said something about, I don't know what I said about shipping it. And he turned around to me and he, like that pallet, he said, not these, you're not. Now I have a temper. I used to do. People who know me really well know, you don't want to, don't push it too far. It'll completely berserk on you. I have temper, and I can feel that was a button, you don't want to push that one on me. No, you can't sell that product. But anyway, I learned some very good lessons as the executive VP of that company. She went around and red tagged, that's what it's called. She red tagged about 50 pallets of product, which was all of that particular nutritional supplement in the warehouse, which was all of our momentum growth products. New product, we made all the wild, sure everything claims for it, put it around the package. People love it. This beet pollen, that stuff will cure anything, I'm telling you, it will. But, you know what happened? Now, I got like crazy, and so got the attorneys and everything, and I got my education really quick. And if the education was, Brooke, I don't care how mad you are, I don't care what your opinion is, I don't care what anybody told you, if you ship any of that product, you're going to jail. Well, what about, I didn't know what was called due process there, but it doesn't matter. The FDA, do whatever they want. Like the IRS. You don't pay the IRS, what do they do with your bank account? Oh, well, what if they're not right? Well, what if you have an explanation for why you didn't pay what they think you should have paid? Yeah, freeze it, freeze it, freeze it. Well, how do you pay your attorney to sue the IRS? Freeze it. That's the IRS. That's the FDA. Mess with the FDA, they will put you out of business. Now, 25 years how they did it is they sent some little lady named Betty out to the warehouse with a red tag, the pallets. Do you know how they do it today? They can do it by email, but they're better than that. They just call USA Today and say, we got a great article about company XYZ that's going through the roof with a pyramid scheme, and we're about to sue them for fraudulent claims. Company XYZ, you're done. Stick a fork in your butt. It's all legislated through the media. All they have to do is get a prominent television station or newspaper to run the article that they're suing you for fraud, you pyramid scamming scumpsters, you, making drug claims, and what happens is your momentum's over. And your company may battle it out in court for the next 3 or 4 years, maybe even stay in business, but over. Fork in butt disease. Sorry, Donna started it. So, same thing here around money. Now, I know Randy said we're the industry that loves to get up on stage and tout how much money we make. I can't tell you how big a mistake that is for us as an industry. That's just one of the biggest mistakes we could ever think about making, touting how much money we make. I just want to suggest to you, as this is sales leaders, if you can't develop yourself to be effective enough as a human being, attractive enough as a sales leader, have a great enough product and a great enough opportunity to enroll people based on who you are and what you have to offer them, not about flashing your check or your Ferrari. If you can't become good enough to do that, you really don't deserve to be a professional in our industry. If the way, go ahead. Now, I don't have a moral issue about flashing checks. I have not a lot of moral issues. I have practical issues. I have no moral issue about making drug claims for something I think cures something. It's not a moral issue, it's a practical issue. If the FDA can put you out of business with one phone call, you are an idiot to violate them. You are playing with fire. You are playing with nitro. You are playing with thousands of people's lives. One distributor can wreck it for every sideline in the company. You know that?
Yes.
Income claims in some states is illegal. You can't even tell some people in some states how much money you make. If they ask you, what was your check last month? And you tell them, you just broke the law. In some states. Now, I know it's a stupid law, but it's a law. So, how do you deal with the law? Do you break the law? If you don't like it, change it. But until it's changed, you're a criminal if you break the law. And I don't have a moral issue about that either. It's a practical issue. So if you make income claims, you're going to get two agencies after you. You're going to get local states attorney generals after you. Attorney generals, they're the political people. They're the ones who get elected. They're the top dog who does all the work in the AG's office. They're called assistant AGs. They're called attorneys fresh out of law school who don't have the whatever to actually go into private practice and make $500,000 a year. They're assistant attorneys. Do you know how much money they make? No way. They make 50, 60, maybe they're seasoned, maybe $60,000, $70,000 a year. Most of the ones that are ever looking at the violations you put on make $40,000 to $50,000 a year. So you get up and say, you get five, 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 selling our jungle juice, you make $137,000 a month. To somebody who knows it's illegal for you to say that makes $40,000 a year. Guess what else about the assistant AG? They're not on the Take a Week program. They're not on any kind of personal development program at all. Not on any. No, not any. They're very, if you like get a peek of them in their office, they're not like. These are very scary, angry, small-minded people with the power to do what? Annihilate you with one phone call. For God's sake, wise up. You don't need to do it. Doesn't mean you can't drive a nice car. They can't sue you for that. Yeah, exactly. Now remember, I'm talking to the companies here. Bart saying, well, after your 20 minutes, well, This is a big problem. This is a big problem. This is a big problem when somebody decides, you know what, this company's not for me anymore. And that's going to happen. It's a reality. It's just going to happen. The company you thought was like for you for the rest of your life when you're 23 years old and all you want to do is pay off your debt, drive a nice car, is not the company necessarily for you when you're on a personal development program and you evolve as a person and you're much wiser and you got a different value system and it's 5 or 10 years down the road, you're looking for something different. It may not be the same company for you. Divorces do happen in our industry. And we got companies that are chasing people, wrecking their lives. Not enough to terminate them. I'm a big believer in you leave my company, you come after my distributors, I'm terminating you. I am not going to pay you to raid my company. Now, I know a lot of you think that's probably a horrible position to take. That's just because you don't own a business like this. If you did, you'd have the same position. But suing people and wrecking their lives because they decide to move on, that's not right. But why is it going on? Because we have too big of a gap. We have companies with a value system, we have sales leaders with a value system. It's too big of a gap and it's us against them. And until we narrow the gap, this is going to continue. Field leaders' commitments. Boy, this is just huge. And I know it doesn't like ring a bell to any of you because you're not in between companies. You're all here engaged and on fire. But ask anybody who's been doing this for 10 years. You probably, in the next 20 years, will be in between companies. What I would just implore you to do is next time, do your homework. Don't just jump in something because you like the product, they got a fancy website, and you like the sponsor. Do your homework. You probably know better questions to ask now, like do some due diligence. Number 2. Marry your company for better or worse. Tom Schreiber is famous for saying, pick the company you want to have your problems with. Every company's going to have problems. Pick the company that you trust to go back to back and fight those problems with you. And marry them for better or worse. Now I'll give you a peek at the next slide, and then we'll back up to this one. Doesn't mean that divorces don't happen. So I'm not saying if the company you're with totally dishonors you, you're not on fire, you're never going to get on fire, at some point, just move on. So what I'm asking you to do is move on with honor, integrity, and generosity. And if that doesn't mean raiding the previous downline to build your new downline. Now this is a very messy, gray, complicated area. Like you move to a new company, you can't stop people from following you. I have an ironclad policy. We don't go after other distributors. But every once in a while, a distributor who's in another company wants to join. You can't keep them out. I mean, I can tell them, like Bear said, we don't accept leaders from other companies. Great, I can tell them that as the CEO, but I can't keep them out. They can still go sign up. People follow. And that's not your responsibility. Rating is your responsibility. Divorce with honor, integrity, and generosity. And one of the biggest things that's caused a gap in our industry is people that have not done that. And they haven't done it because they don't have enough confidence. They don't have a character, value of honesty and integrity and do the right thing leadership. And they're afraid they can't build fast enough in the new company. They need their own people. That's the mechanism that raids a company. And you and I need to stamp it out as the future of our industry. I'm going to tell you a quick story about marry your company for better or worse. So about 4 years ago, I got a gal involved in my company that was a very seasoned, very successful network marketer. Been doing it for 20 years, built 2 huge organizations. Got involved. She actually spent, to her credit, 3 months studying my company before she got in. I mean, hours and hours and hours interviewing me and looking at everything. And so she gets into business. So her first mode of operation is she's going to start flying people in that she knew to take a look and start to build her group. So she says, hey, if I fly like 50 people in, will you sit down with them and talk to them about the opportunity? These are all networkers. But yeah, I do actually like that kind of thing. So after people. Some of them came 2 at a time, some of them came 1, some of them came 3 at a time. I spent like 3 months doing this. And what I do when people sit in front of me is I say, tell me your story. You're a networker. I love networker stories, even the horror stories. I can make it all fun. So, tell me your story. So these are all people pretty much that have been doing the business for between 10 and 30 years. And they're sitting in front of me. Why? They're looking for a new deal. These are not new people. These are seasoned veterans in the industry. So I didn't get on to this until after about the 3rd interview, but on about the 3rd or 4th interview, when I'm saying, hey, tell me your story, I got a whiteboard in my office. So when they start telling me their story, I always start, well, tell me the story at the beginning, like how did you get involved in the business? They say, well, I got involved in, Amway or, Shackley or New Life or in the New Skin or Herbalife or, one of the old established companies. And I put that company up on my whiteboard. And then I say, well, then what happened? And they'd say, the compensation plan changed, or a newspaper article came out, or my upline did this, or they quit shipping this, or, my cat got sick, or, we all moved over to, company B. So I'd write company B up underneath, Herbalife, or whatever company they started. And this conversation would go on for like an hour, however long the story went. And these people, seasoned people, 10 to 30 years. Average number of companies, guess how many? 10. Average number of companies, 10. Some of them were in companies they couldn't even remember the name of or the name of the product. They would actually, after they're like under number 7, they'd go, oh yeah, I forgot to say about, back up here, I got involved in, I can't remember what it was. So these long lists. And here's a question that sort of just intuitively came up on the 3rd or 4th interview, and I asked everybody, 52 people, by the way. 52 people we did this with, and I asked them this question. I said, I'm just curious. It's one of my favorite prefaces. It's a tip. I believe if you preface your question with, I'm just curious, you can ask people anything you want. And they'll just tell you. I'm just curious. Go back to company A, Herbalife, whatever it was. I want you to imagine, tell me, where do you think you'd be in net worth, credit score? You may not think that's an important thing, but that's huge in building wealth. Is your ability to leverage your money at the top line, leverage real estate. You got a lousy credit record, you're toast. Net worth, credit score, your health, your relationship with your family, spouse, kids, relationships with family, health, your credit score, and your net worth. Where do you think it would be today if you just stuck it out with company number 1? And almost every one of these, by the way, company number 1 was still in business. Where do you think you'd be in net worth, credit score, health, and relationship with your family? Where do you think you'd be? I watched 52 people go white as a sheet, almost puked on my desk. Marry your company for better or worse. And divorce them with honor, integrity, and generosity. I was kind of taken aback starting Thursday night when Art talks about Mark Darnell's circle the wagons. It's been brought up half a dozen times because I put this PowerPoint together a week ago. But he is famous for saying we're the only industry that when times are tough, and I'm going to give you a sense of how times are tough here, we just look to annihilate each other, and it's a really stupid thing to do. So here's what I mean by perishable business. We're about 50 years old as an industry. In the last 50 years in the United States, we've developed enough companies and enough distributors and enough sales volume to do about $30 billion a year in the United States. Probably a couple of thousand network marketing companies, They come and go, really fast. About $30 billion a year, 50 years. The franchising industry, as an example, different kind of business model, but I don't think it should compete with us because what's it cost to get involved in a franchise? Minimum $15,000, $20,000, all the way up to $2 or $3 million. And what are you buying? You're buying a job. Ask anybody that's ever bought one. You pay $1 million for a McDonald's. You bought a job. You're going to make that franchise successful. You're going to be there 20 hours a day. Franchising is buying a job. The franchising industry has been around for 150 years in this country, but it didn't really get popularized until about the same time network marketing did. Kentucky Fried Chicken in 1944, one of the first companies to actually popularize franchising. You got Burger King back then, McDonald's 1955 or 56. Guess how much total sales volume franchising does compared to network marketing direct sales? Just under $1 trillion in the United States alone. We do $30 billion, they do $1 trillion. 30 million to $1 trillion. They are trouncing us in an opportunity that costs hundreds and thousands of dollars to get involved in, and all you do is buy a job. Trouncing us. But you probably heard in the 60s or 70s they came within a few votes of being what? Outlawed as a concept in this country. Completely abolished. Against the law to franchise. Now you see how heavily regulated franchises are? They're heavily regulated. Before you invest in a franchise, that company has to tell you all there is to tell. All the good, the bad, and the ugly. Heavily regulated. We don't get our act together, we're going to be heavily regulated. Every failed indolent business that was honorable, bad ones, I like to get them out of here as fast as possible, but the honorable ones, they just add fuel to the fire to the regulators and the media. We as an industry need to lock on arms and mutual respect. We need more success. We're 30 billion. We could be $1 trillion. The only way we're going to get from 30 billion to $1 trillion, to at least have the same respect and clout in this country as the franchising industry, is to lock arms. You don't see McDonald's and Burger King tearing each other apart like we do. They may advertise against each other, but they don't tear each other apart like we do. When there's an honorable company out there, we need to lock arms, and we need to build to $1 trillion. And it's not going to happen because your company's cool. One company can't do it. Your company can't do it. We can do it. There's two things that got to happen to pull that off. Number one, U.S. sales leaders. Forget about $100,000 a month earners. Most of you here would just love to figure out how to make 5 or 10 every month. U.S. sales leaders, you've got to become pro, and that's just not about doing the A-grade activities where you're recruiting and making money. You've got to become a professional. You've got to quit taking the shortcuts, quit making drug claims, quit making outlandish income claims, quit raiding each other's companies. You got to become an ethical, professional leader in this industry, and you got to hold your companies accountable to do the same thing. And the only way you can hold them accountable is vote with your feet. So, if they're not doing the right thing, then you find a new partner. So, that's my speech today, and I want to leave you with a tip, because I've been listening for 2 days, and all this $100,000 a month, and everybody drives a Ferrari, grand is $8,000 a year. You know, Jordan, I was back there, and I got lasered about 15 years ago. I got great. I got better than 20/20 eyesight. And I swear, I could not tell the difference between your super and I speaker, you will be able to tell the difference between his suit and yours. Or his suit and mine. That's great. But I wanted to leave you a tip. I'm sitting back there listening to all this stuff, and you know what? These are phenomenal leaders, dead on in their training. You could have any one of these people come to any one of your seminars, and of course they teach maybe different stuff, which wouldn't be necessarily good. But from a rich quality content standpoint, I mean, these people are dead on. Phenomenal leaders, phenomenal trainers. Really, really good stuff. My hats off. Since I am a sales training leader at heart, I wanted to just leave you with a tidbit on how to answer this question. Because I think the holy grail of network marketing is really how do you get your new distributors, or perhaps you, whether you're new or you're looking to relaunch your momentum, how do you get back in recruiting mode? How do you get somebody to actually go out and sponsor a person a week? Maybe after a while you don't need to sponsor that many because you got enough to work with, but how do you get people through the momentum? Like actually get a team of people so they can lead and train and inspire and kind of get on top of the power group. How do you get that back if you're stuck? And how do you give it to a new person? And I like to boil things down as simple as possible. Well, when I hear people who are stuck, whether they're new people or old people, what I hear them kind of boil it all down to is three basic questions. Who do I talk to? If you go on the internet and you see billions of dollars and trillions of pages of hype and sales pitch and offerings trying to answer the question, who do I talk to? Who do I talk to? What do I say? That's the second question. Now, of course, if you have great presentation materials, let the presentation materials do the talking. And then, what do I do or what do I say if somebody says no? And what that really means is, how do I keep going if I fail? Like, how do I keep excited? How do I keep moving on if people don't want to get in my business? But I find people that are stuck have three basic questions. Who do I talk to? What do I say? And what do I do if they say no? So here's how I answer that for people. I say, we need to change the game. Because you guys are looking at this all wrong. Guys, you're stuck. You're like the fly trying to get out, By the way, that's Price Pritchard YouTube. It's the source of that story. If you've never read any of Price Pritchard stuff, he's one of the most brilliant personal development breakthrough authors of our time. Everything he writes is this thick. You read it in 20 minutes. The Fly comes from his book, U Squared. Phenomenal book. Everybody's the fly trying to figure out how to get it. They just don't see it right. So I think we need to change the game. And I'm going to show you how easy our game is to be successful. So here's the game change. In your particular company, how many of you have like a fast start kit? Okay? Something like the right way to get started. So, it doesn't really help if you sign people up and they just end up being wholesale customers. But if you're looking for builders, you got, whatever that kit is for your builders. You got something like that? So here's the game change. First step is, I got this conglomerate, Warren Buffett kind of $1 trillion conglomerate, and we're going to come in and we're going to buy your company. So we're taking over your network marketing company so we can change the rules. And instead of having you have to work so hard, we're going to actually invest trillions of dollars in solving the biggest problem we all have as networkers, which is, how do you get people to recruit? It's not that hard, is it? But it seems to be, because that's the biggest trouble everybody has. Get people to recruit. So we're going to come in, we're going to buy your company, we're going to invest billions of dollars in solving the problem. And here's how we're going to do it. You got like your fast start, your right way to start. As long as you will personally sponsor one person a week, the right way. So you got to sell them whatever your fast start kit is or your right way to get started. As long as you'll personally sponsor, this is you, an experienced distributor who may be stuck, or this is available to your brand new people. As long as you'll personally sponsor one person a week, we'll pay you $2,500 a week. On top of whatever you're earning now. So if you're earning $100,000 a month and you want the $2,500 a week, we'll give you $2,500 a week to personally sponsor one person a week. You only get one. You don't need to sponsor two. Just one a week, $2,500 a week. So you can make 10 grand a month. Personally sponsoring one person a week. As soon as the app comes in with the order, daily payout, we'll put it on your debit card, $2,500 cash. Only a couple of rules. You can't buy the kit out of the $2,500 for the new person. You have to legitimately prospect, network, sell the package. You with me? You can't bribe the new person. You just got to keep the money, and it has to be a secret to the prospect. You can't tell the prospect that it's $2,500 for everybody you sponsor. It's a secret. Payable only to you. You with me? $2,500 a week, 10 grand a month. Every week for 52 weeks. And then another 52 weeks for the end of 2 years. 24 months, one person a week. At the end of 24 months, we'll pay you $10,000 a month for the rest of your life. And we won't screw with you. 10 grand a month for the rest of your life. But you got to sponsor one a week for 2 years. If you ever miss a week because your cat got sick, or your plane's late, or you lost your paperwork, or you got busy, or you fell asleep, you're terminated. You're terminated. You can't ever come back in any of our companies, and we're buying every company in. So you're out of the whole deal forever. 10 grand a month for the rest of your life. $2,500 a week for every person you can put in. Got it? So on your paper, I want you to write the answer to a question. Try to do it in one word. Try not to spend any money on the answer. Who are you going to talk to? Everybody. Really? That easy? We really been the fly beating our hair against the wall, haven't we? Okay, well, you think you got that one. The second question is, what do you speak to? Yeah, when you go to talk to somebody about your deal, what are you going to say? No, really, I want to know what you're going to say. Okay, I want to show you something. I want to show you something. You should write a book about that, huh? I'm just curious. What are you going to say?
Sponsor one a week, you get $2,500.
You can't tell them that. It's secret. I'll help you with the answer. You don't know what you're going to say, and it doesn't matter what you're going to say. If you got a video, show them the video. If you got a conference call, show them the conference call. Who the hell cares? It doesn't matter. So if you don't believe me, do you remember the presentation that got your attention? I do remember mine. 5, you get 5, you get 5, you get 5. Randy and I got those numbers 5, 25, 6, 25,000. I got my attention, but that's not the best presentation in the world. Oh, third question. What do you do if they say no? Why? Okay, get them to a customer, whatever. Tell them to get lost. Put them back in line, drip on them. Who cares? What was it that?
$500 to sign up.
Do you need to make an ass of yourself in the process?